some people could also said, we touch on this in other discussions, but in many respects, this stuff is a victim of its own success, because if you think about it, like, a lot of these major problems have been resolved, as we've said, like segregation has ended. There are a lot of laws against discrimination. Women have access to the same universities and careers. But I think it's one of those, it's sort of that St. George in retirement syndrome thing of, no, it's not enough, we have to keep going. Where's the next dragon to slay? And this is why this stuff has just become so crazy.
Yeah. And that's what we were talking about before with the words thing, and I mean how words transition. They seem, with some of these things, some of these concepts, I don't know, it might be hard to just invent new words. Why do certain groups seem to be more about taking away the definition of the words, and instead of inventing a new term, like for example, you talk about those Greek terms that mean several things, and then now it takes several English words to explain what was meant by one word. So maybe there's many different things that exist. Now, instead of saying, oh, wealth isn't this, oppression isn't what it has been, let's now change it. Why don't they find a way to create a different term, a different word, or a different group of terms that would define what they currently mean as oppression? That's something that's kind of frustrating to me.
So just a few more instances of what happened. There was the whole decolonizing Evergreen scenario. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that, where basically they wanted to make the campus safe for black kids, and they had to find racism on campus. So Brett Weinstein, he was a professor, he's no longer there, basically said, well, where's the evidence of racism on this campus? I guess people actually came after him with baseball bats and all this other stuff. And it was really crazy, because the thing is, Weinstein's pretty left-leaning. I mean, I think he was even a Bernie Sanders supporter. So you think about it, he should be on their side. But because he didn't subscribe to all of this, they came after him. And I don't think he got fired. I think he left on his own, but it wasn't under great terms. But they've said that whole instance actually hurt the college a lot. Like, their enrollment is a small fraction of what it should be, because people say, no, this is crazy, and you're just sending kids here to be indoctrinated. Not going to have a part of that.
There's an excellent documentary by Mike Nina. I think it's Nayana, where he talks about Weinstein, Heather Hang, and talks about the Evergreen thing. And you might have heard about that in passing, but I think for many people, that was one of the first times people really saw this come on the stage. And this goes back to what we were talking about, is the numbers versus the signal. Now, you've seen different effects of it in different colleges, but you look at the actual numbers, and I think they go close to that 8 to 10% that you're talking about when you look at actual other colleges and say, how active is it in, like, the University of Georgia, for example? And it's probably not that active. If you actually talk to the actual students, they might only be about 5% that actually say they're social justice warriors, or that kind of sense, and identify with these things. But they will be very active within that university. And I think the teachers might be 25% or so, like that. But you get to that point. But with Evergreen, it was a specific school for that. I really suggest you check this out to see that. And I think when you see this, you'll also get a bit more heartened, like I have, where I'm like, I can't imagine what happened at Evergreen happening en masse all around the country. Like, there's a point when people find out about these things, it's going to be like, that is not the way we're going to do things. There was already many issues with Evergreen. It was specifically an experimental college type of environment to try different ways of what kids could decide when they come to class, how they learn in different places. And you can see that. And that's what it was. And that attracted somebody like Brett Weinstein and his wife, Heather Hang, because that's what they were attracted to. They wanted to break down some of these structures. They wanted to find new ways of learning, new ways of interacting with people. And when you do that, you're going to find worse ways, you're going to find better ways. And this is by any argument of it, was a worse way.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. This has been a clip from an actual longer recording that I'll try to leave a link to on the screen or somewhere around here where you're listening to this.
Presents. 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 Presents.
Peasants.
Okay. Okay.